Hogwarts Legacy was an absolutely massive video game release at the beginning of 2023, and it took the industry by storm. And over the past year since its release, there's been a lot of talk about how successful it really was, but now we have actually found out that it has sold over 22 million copies, and Warner Brothers is bragging about how it's the best-selling game of the year in the entire industry worldwide. I have a few different things to show off, but before we get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, follow me on social media, and consider supporting through Patreon or via YouTube memberships. Now, there is a lot of talk about this on social media, primarily because the Game Awards official Twitter/X account decided to post this. Before we get into that, though, this is a PC Gamer article, and it does say, yes, it is a cash cow. Warner Brothers Games has announced that the Harry Potter action RPG Hogwarts Legacy sold over 22 million copies by the end of 2023, with roughly 2 million of those sales over the December festive period. But it's not just the units sold that I'm so proud of, it's just that it was, a game that delighted the fans so much. Warner Brothers Interactive Entertainment President David Haddad told Variety. Now, obviously, this was a game that faced a lot of scrutiny when it initially released, and months before that, because there were journalists who were basically begging people to boycott this game simply because it is in the wizarding world, because J.K. Rowling had written Harry Potter originally. Even though she had nothing to do with this game, she did not get to see it early, she didn't have any input in what this game and the final product was, they still wanted to virtually cancel it because JK created the wizarding world, which of course was insane. Like, there are games that are created by people that I personally don't like, but I still try to play those games, or at least give them some kind of chance. But of course, journalists epically failed. The boycotts surrounding this game epically failed. Now, obviously, I definitely do think that the controversy behind JK did most likely help the game, because the boycotts gave it so much free PR, but at the same time, this is a massive franchise with a massive fan base who clearly support it, but bad games do not sell 22 million copies, even if their fan bases are giant. And of course, the reason why this post has gone, and blown up is because at the Game Awards this year, they completely ignored Hogwarts Legacy's existence. Now, I am not saying that Hogwarts Legacy deserved to be nominated in almost every single category and it deserved to win, because I did think it was a fantastic game, but I did think there were other fantastic games. Like, my number one game of the year was Final Fantasy 16, but Hogwarts Legacy was a very close second, and in my opinion, definitely deserved a lot of, positive attention. But at the Game Awards, it was not nominated at all whatsoever for any category. They completely snubbed it, and I just do not believe that that was deserved. I thought that they should have at least nominated it, even if it did not win much, but that is not what happened, and the Game Awards got absolutely destroyed for that, because it was clearly due to politics. It was clearly because the people behind the Game Awards do not like JK, and of course, when it came to, their board of the people who vote, it is filled with SJWs. It is filled with video game journalists who are more like activists, and this did not sit well with people. The fact that Hogwarts Legacy got completely snubbed. Now, of course, this 22 million number is absolutely massive, and there are reports that Baldur's Gate 3 sold as high as like 27 million copies, which obviously we don't know for sure 100%, but don't you think at this point Larian would show their numbers to prove Hogwarts Legacy wasn't the best-selling game of the year if it really was that high? You'd think they counter that narrative with their own numbers, and they have been completely silent. And I do see some people bringing up, like, oh, there are other games that might have sold higher this year. Yeah, but we don't have confirmation of that. And look, I know there's a lot of people out there who love Baldur's Gate 3, and I'm not taking a shot at anyone for liking it. I'm not saying it didn't do well, especially for an isometric RPG. It's certainly the highest selling isometric RPG, but that's the only thing that we can really be certain of, that it's loved by a lot of people and it did very well. And it is very fair that people are now calling out the Game Awards for talking about Hogwarts Legacy when they completely ignored it at their, at their award show. Now, the Game Awards official Twitter slash X account does now post general gaming news, and they would probably look even worse if they didn't end up covering this, since they cover like a lot of small things that also happen in the industry now, but they're getting roasted for it. It was a really fun game. It's a great game. It's not perfect, but it's an exceptional experience, which more than compensates. I completely agree. Was it a perfect video game? No, in my opinion, there's really not many perfect video games out there, but if you are a fan of the wizarding world, it is definitely going to be a great experience for you. If you're just looking for something that's very whimsical and lighthearted, it's definitely a game for you. And if you're just looking for a game that does its mechanics well, and offers you a vast array of like different spells and different activities to do within the game, it's definitely a title that I would pick up if I hadn't already. Yet it had 0 nominations in any category at last year's VGAs, and completely ignored at the Game Awards. How freaking sad. Boycott failed successfully. I do definitely think that the controversy behind JK did help sell this game, but again, bad games do not sell 22 million copies. Most sold game of 2023 calendar year worldwide, absolutely massive. What game is this? You guys didn't mention it at all during the actual show. It is hilarious to see them get roasted, because I've been saying this since the Game Awards, and they announced all the nominees, that they should have at least nominated it, but they didn't. We've been saying this, and it's why we pointed at and laughed at the 2023 Game Awards. They ignored it because they did not like J.K. Rowling. It was a politically motivated exclusion, and they deserve to be called out for this. It is so sad that such a fantastic game did not get any recognition at the Game Awards simply because of politics. Now, obviously, we have heard a lot is in the works surrounding this game now. We've heard that they are planning potentially to do DLC that was not originally planned. We have heard that they are going to be doing a sequel to this. No matter what it is, I'll support it. Hogwarts Legacy was a fantastic game, and in my opinion, it did deserve to sell 22 million copies, but it is a great game. I'd highly recommend it, and it is funny to see people absolutely roast Jeff Keighley's The Game Awards after the Warner Brothers exec has bragged about how it's the best-selling game of the year in the entire industry worldwide. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this, make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you didn't, make sure to give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.